Welcome to Forest Thoughts EP1, Snares. In today's video, we are talking all about snares. I'm going to show you how to make them, how to use them, how to set them up, how to read the forest floor, and then we're going to get into my hot take as to why I can't stand snares. Oh, hey, bud. I find the best snares are made with a simple metal wire, but you can also use flexible metal cabling or simply rope. And I'm going to show you how to use all three because in a survival situation, you don't get to choose what you have on hand. So let's talk about that. Here are the basic mechanics of a snare. You simply make a loop like this. You have a little fur tag. This helps catch the fur. And it's on a slip knot mechanism. So this slides up and down. Now, the ideal goal is to be able to get the animal's head to travel through this. We'll talk about how to encourage the animal to do that. But simply put, your animal is going to be traveling along the forest floor. They're not going to see the wire because it's small. Their head is going to go something like that. The skin tag is going to catch, and it's simply going to pull tight. And oh no, we caught him. And so in a survival situation, this is a clutch mechanism. Super simple to make, super simple to reuse. You can make lots of them. This is what I would call semi-passive hunting. When making a snare in the field, I like to find a branch that has a diameter that is going to be thinner than my pinky. And I like to start with about 2 inches of wire overhanging the branch, about 2 inches. And then I wrap it around the branch about 3 times. 1, 2, and one more, 3. And then I leave the little extra part there. That's going to be the fur tag. And then we just got to pry it off the branch here, which, sometimes easier said than done, but let's give it a little pull. There we go. And now I'm left with my loop. Just straighten that out. As you can see, we are going to wrap our wire back around and through that loop. So just take your wire, bring it around itself, up and through the loop. Pull it tight and make it the size you want your snare to be. We'll talk a little bit more about how to size that, but this is the general mechanics of it. Straighten out your fur tag, and there we have a perfect snare. Just like that. As demonstrated earlier, the animal will just sneak their head in between the snare and it'll get caught on them and it'll pull tight. And then they will be caught in the snare. This is called the trap knot. Start with 2 to 3 feet of cord and make a loop. Pinch in the middle and bring your free end back up and pinch it also in the middle. Start wrapping around that pinch point 2 to 3 times. We're just going to go around 3 times here and then one more time and back through itself. Just like so. Hold your free end down and then pull it tight from the knot side. And there you go. We have a slip knot. So this is going to work like a noose. If you hold onto the anchor side and then pull, it tightens. So if an animal were to put their head in there and run away, they're going to get snared. This is a good survival knot using a rope. Here's another variation of the trap knot using the metal cable. So the one problem with the rope is that a larger animal caught in it might be able to chew their way through it. So if you have this metal cabling, they're not going to be able to chew through it. So this would work better on things like a fox, coyote, or wolf. It's a little more finicky and it requires a little more force to pull because there's a little more friction. But at least you know the animal won't be able to chew through it. So it's the same kind of knot mechanic as before. And if you have the one end anchored and an animal were to go through the loop, we're just pulling this tight, you see that it cinches up. Again, this is a little harder to pull off than the rope or the wire snare, but it's good in a pinch. Snares are one of the best survival hunting mechanisms known to man. Simply set out as many snares as possible in various locations of high traffic areas. I'll teach you how to read the forest floor in a second. And let the snare do the work. All you have to do is check it a few times a day and see if you've got a meal. We call this passive hunting. Set it and forget it. And simply put, in a survival situation, anything you can do that is passive, meaning you're not burning calories, is going to help you live another day. So you want as many passive survival techniques in your tool bag as possible. Hence the snare. Looking behind me, I can see a very opportune spot to put one of these snares. In fact, I can see 2 ways to hang the snare depending on what you're targeting. Can you guys see where I'm thinking? right under here or on top of here. Let me show you what I mean. This area here is a natural pinch point where animals are going to feel safer going under it. Now we can encourage them from going around by putting more debris here. So we want to build a little bit of a funnel to direct the animal through here. Now if we're going to set up our snare, we want it hanging in between that hole. This is a perfect spot for something like a rabbit. So let's get right into it. So for the purpose of this demonstration, we've got our metal wire snare here. And if we wanted this to be catching a rabbit, you want to set the hole size to be about the size of the palm of your hand. Now, we also want it to be a couple inches off the ground. So we're going to find a spot on this tree, and we're going to find maybe something like this. And we're going to tie it around this branch. Tie it around this branch. And now, in order to stop the rabbit from wanting to go under here, we'll find another branch like this, and we're going to set this down underneath our snare into the ground. We'll set our snare on top. This way the rabbit doesn't want to go under. If we got a hole like this, we can just take some debris and we can fill in the gap. You guys get the point. We want to encourage the path of the bunny to be coming through here and underneath. And so if it gets its head into the snare and the snare is secured to this tree, as it tries to pull forward, this wire is going to tighten on it and it simply can't get out. Now let me show you why this upper branch is also a good spot to set a snare. Ramps like this are natural corridors for little squirrels, and they're going to travel up this. And if we set our string snare along this path, it's going to come up here, get its little head in between that rope. It's going to pull, that rope is going to tighten, and it's going to fall off the branch. And we have our little squirrel friend right beside our rabbit friend. So both on top and below are good spots to set our snares. Now you might look at this and say, Justin, this is amazing. This is the absolute best way to passively hunt for food. I cannot thank you enough for showing me this. But didn't you say you can't stand snares? Let's talk about that. There's a few reasons that I can't stand snares and I don't use them myself. Doesn't mean they're not a great survival technique, but let's talk about it. Let's say you set your snares out early in the morning. You know who checks your snares before you do? Predators, foxes, wolves, bears, you name it. They're going to get here before you do. And they're going to start pecking at this and spreading bacteria. And you are going to be showing up for the scraps and the remains. That feels like a wasted opportunity. Number two, we know that bacteria spreads very fast once the blood stops flowing through the body. That's why when you hunt an animal, it's a very important thing to gut and skin it and let the meat cool down right away to stop the spread of bacteria. Let's say you set the snare and it works within a half hour and you come check it later at the end of the day. If it is positive degree weather, there is a good chance that this meat is now spoiled. You're going to lose a bunch of the yield, and even if the predators don't come, you now have a risk of getting sick. And in a survival situation, the last thing you can afford to do is get sick. My third reason I don't like snares, you don't get to choose the target. You might intend for a target, but you don't get to choose. What if you have a dog, and your dog comes wandering along the trail, and it gets its foot stuck in the snare? You could lose or injure your dog. And remember what I said about predators coming to check the snare first. This is not a situation you want to put your animals in. And if Marshall from the Paw Patrol gets his foot stuck, who's going to save the town if there's a fire? Do you really want that on your conscience? Now, don't get me wrong. I really do believe that learning how to set up snares is an excellent survival skill. But I want to make sure you guys are aware of the risks that go along with the rewards. Do you agree or disagree? Should you use snares or should you avoid them? Make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and click the notification bell because there's going to be a new episode every Sunday. Welcome to my new series, Forest Thoughts. I'm your host, Justin, and I look forward to teaching you something new next time. Goodbye.